where I groom children on public speaking, on storytelling, on communication. Parents come to me at the age of 5 also. Keep them at home, kiss them, let them be happy, let them be free. What I feel is every child has his own voice.
Yes.
Right? And it needs to be heard.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest attribute is the fear.
I want the kids to be able to enjoy, have fun, and feel themselves.
Yeah.
Who learns public speaking and why should I? I don't want to do it.
People are judging you, right? Hi, welcome to Tantrums to Triumphs by Kidzata. Today we have a special guest from Speakers Academy. Akanksha Narang is the founder of Speakers Academy. With 17 years of experience in soft skills training, child development, she helps bring voices to children and express confidently. As a communications coach, storyteller, and children's library founder, she has had vast experience in working with children and helping them grow. She has helped numerous kids blossom into effective and engaging public speakers. Welcome, Akanksha.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you so much for having me here. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. We have connected through a common friend and it has been great knowing you.
Yes.
And I keep following you and you do so many things with children, especially when it comes to public speaking.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how children have transformed. So let's begin with just understanding, telling us how your whole journey with public speaking started. What was your background?
Sure.
What inspired you to get here?
So I've worn multiple hats, right? So right from, I think I started off with my corporate journey for a good 12, 13 years.
Yep.
Post which I took a break for maternity and I started off my journey as a soft skill trainer, right? So I did multiple workshops at multiple corporates and I still do that as a passion project as well as something that earns me my bread and butter, right? And that journey I took little by little to children as well. So I also took a franchise of a library where I run my own workshops, which is how the Speakers Academy came into being as well. Right?
Okay.
Where I groom children on public speaking, on storytelling, on communication. And that is something which drives me right now, and that is something what Speakers Academy stands for by itself. Yeah.
Awesome. What age group of children do you teach?
Right. It's a good question. Parents come to me at the age of 5 also.
Wow. Okay.
Right? And I tell them, no, keep them at home, kiss them, let them be happy, let them be free. And don't put them into this. But then I think now what we've seen is there's a lot of show and tell happening at school. So parents want their children to do that. There's storytelling, there's elocution, there's role play at school happening at the age of 5 itself.
Wow. Elocution?
And in smaller ways.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So role plays and stuff. However, I start taking them only after the age of 7 plus.
Okay.
I still feel 5 is too young and their natural self needs to evolve. You may be disturbing them. Let their natural self come out and be able to express themselves.
Yes.
Right? I don't want to, maybe mess with that at that point of time.
Absolutely.
So 7 plus, 8 plus till the age group of 17. And of course, I do it for adults as well as college-going kids.
Awesome. So you run multiple batches?
I run multiple batches.
And you do offline and online?
Offline, online, across the country. I think in COVID, I'm sure you would agree that I reached out to Muscat, Ireland and many other places as well.
Fantastic.
Right? So then, so there are kids from tier 2, tier 3 cities as well, from Jamshedpur.
Okay.
Then there are kids from Ahmedabad, there are kids from Cochin, all across.
Awesome.
Offline. Yeah.
Awesome. What do you love the most about working with children?
Yes. So what I feel is every child has his own voice.
Yes.
Right? And it needs to be heard. It's just that sometimes they don't have the right tools to be able to say it, to be taken seriously, to be heard. And that is when I feel that, and that's when I felt that, I need to give them that guidance. I need to provide them with tools to be able to make themselves articulate enough. And that's where you see a lot of PTMs also, teachers would say, he knows everything, she knows everything, but they don't speak. Right? So that's the gap that I want to fill for them.
Okay.
Right. So
nice.
that's how.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your course structure. How many weeks is it, or days, and how do you run with it? How many times a week, and how long does it last?
So right now it's the summers that are
Yes.
going on, so summer camps are on. So we do summer camps as well for children. However, I feel it's a longish journey because public speaking cannot be taught in just 10 days and 12 days, right? So although I do spread across for about 1.5 to 2 months, there are different levels. There's a level 1, there's a level 2, and there's a level 3, where we begin with their identity. We help them understand how to introduce themselves. So there's a beautiful mind map which they create for themselves. They picturize it to be able to make it their own. How do you not just introduce yourself with what your hobbies is, with school and which age, many other things at a whole, who you are. Then we move on to how to structure your speech. Where do I gather the information from? What do I put in? What are my resources? And then we move on to, of course, body language, eye contact, hand gestures, voice modulation, and then how to build confidence, conviction, all of that, which is about a good 1.5 to 2 months course that goes on.
Fantastic. And you do the course all by yourself? Like the content of the course is all?
Yes, it's all been developed by me through multiple sources, with of course the years of experience that I've had, with the experiences that I've had with multiple people and multiple organizations. So I also read up a lot. I study what the market needs, what the children want to do. At the end of the day, I want the kids to be able to enjoy, have fun, and feel themselves. And again, no fear of judgment, no fear of, okay, what is she thinking, and are there going to be marks at the end of it? No, none of that. To be able to express themselves freely.
And that also helps in emotional growth.
Absolutely.
Right? And when
you've been a fan of journaling yourself.
Yes, yes, I still do. I still do journaling sometimes. As much as I want to do it regularly, it hasn't been happening, but it is my go-to space when I
so
really
we do a lot of self-affirmation also in public speaking, visualizing how the speech is going to come out and all of that, because that makes the child feel confident. At the end of the day, by just saying best of luck is not enough. There's so many things that you do for yourself internally to be able to feel confident when you stand there.
So I'm sure you have seen children transform. Do you want to share an experience?
Yes, there have been multiple experiences where parents have come back, written emails to me, long emails to me, my child never wanted to join this course at all. It's like, who learns public speaking and why should I? I don't want to do it. Okay, I'm good at communication, I know English. Right? So that's when I teach them that it's not about knowing English. Right? It's about how the other person understands. How do you make them understand? Right? At the end of the day, it's not good communication, but effective communication is what you need. At the end of the day, your job needs to be get done.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's so multiple emails which says my child never wanted to go through it, but by the 3rd or the 4th session, he was so into it. He was practicing his speeches. He was doing the homework that you were asking them to do, and I loved seeing my son transform.
Awesome.
And then there are messages after 6 months, 8 months, Kushi won this elocution competition. I'm so happy your guidance made a difference. Even after 6-7 months. Right? So that is like, okay, a tick mark in my, a win for me.
And that inspires you a lot, right? That motivates you to do what you're doing even more.
Absolutely. And sometimes the kind of testimonials that parents give fills my heart. I'm like, wow, this is what I want to do.
That's awesome. Actually, frankly speaking, public speaking is, of course, you need a structure, you need the body, you need to understand how your hand gestures are, how you're communicating and everything. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest attribute is the fear. The shyness and the fear. Because people are judging you, right? And that plays a very big part in everybody. Like, even the best of the speakers probably will have butterflies in their stomach at some point. So, not just for kids, even adults sometimes have the fear of speaking out. How do you address that fear?
Yes, I'm sure most of us know this, that the fear of public speaking is second after the fear of death.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
You can Google it. It's there. right?
Okay.
It's that fearful. I mean, the moment you make that imaginary stage in front of you, and then there's audience, automatically there are butterflies in your stomach, you're sweating, and they're like, should I just finish fast and go?
Yeah.
All that just kicks in. But what I tell my children is normalize the fear of being judged.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we are all going to judge each other.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen come what may.
Absolutely.
That is something that I tell them. I normalize it.
Yeah.
And I help them understand this a little better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that when it happens, we play a lot of games. We help them visualize also to be able to understand that when you go in there, there are people watching you and how would you respond to them, all of that, and how to observe the audience. At the end of the day, it's the audience who's trying to gain from you. Right?
Correct.
You're there for the audience. And when that equation is understood and slowly they kind of evolve and they understand and they learn that. And I tell them it's a learnable skill.
Yeah.
Remember the days you started cycling? Did you not fall multiple times? Did your friends not make fun of you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Likewise, public speaking is also a beautiful but a learnable skill which you can learn with time.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, especially with social media and everything as well, everybody's judging
Absolutely.
you all the time.
Yes.
And kids also have become used to being judged for things that they shouldn't be or things that are petty as well. Somewhere it feels that the children may be losing the confidence of being able to express themselves.
Yeah.
And express what they want to talk about, but because the fear of judgment has increased a lot with the social media.
Yeah. So yes, I think that phase kicks in the moment they touch that 12, 13, the tweens and upwards, So I tell parents, start them young. The moment they hit 8 plus, 9 plus, let's get them to join these courses so that it's easier for them to understand what it is to go out there and speak and why is it so important to be heard.
Yeah.
Right? You need to create an identity, you need to create a visibility. Let's not wait for them to go into 13 and then you realize that he's the teenager who's not going to come out and speak and he's
It's even difficult when they hit the teens, right?
They're not in the talking mode at all, right?
Yeah.
Right. I know there are arguments, there are those. I'm a teenager mom.
Same
to be.
Yes, I am a teen mom. I have two teens.
Right. So when you start them young, 8 plus, 9 plus is a good age to start for them to be able to realize the importance of this. Right? And these days there's so many competitions. There are MUNs happening at schools.
Yeah.
There are TEDx's happening at schools. There's so much grooming that's happening at school. In fact, I didn't mention this earlier, but I had a 2-year stint at a school as well.
Okay.
So at Sandipani Academy, again in Sarjapur itself, which gave me a good idea as to, and I taught this grade 6 and 7 who are tweens and getting into teenagers.
Yep.
That gave me an understanding what school does for public speaking.
Yeah.
What are parents doing? What are the struggles of a child? How much opportunity? Believe me, there's so much opportunity to do public speaking.
Yeah.
Right? And if they're tapped well, and I think it's...
Yeah.
they would
I
do
mean,
well.
you don't need a stage, right?
Yes.
Once the child grows up and they start interacting with the real world, like say for example, they're going for an internship or they get a job or they're appearing for an interview, it is a skill that you naturally need to develop
with time.
Because it's not, the stage is not going to be set by giving you warning saying that hey, you need to speak. Sometimes you are just situations come up where there is a person that is a founder of a company, and then that if you make an impression, it is good for you. And then you need to be able to talk.
True.
Right?
Yeah. So I tell kids, it's a skill that you develop with time. Right? It's not going to come to you. It's not like math that will come to you. Right? You apply a formula, you apply an equation, and it comes to you. It's something that you develop, nurture, have a liking for it, and start growing into it.
Nice. Are there any simple tips or techniques that you give to kids or adults? Say for example, they've not done the course at all, but they come to you and say, hey, I need to talk, I need to speak at an interview, or I need to talk with a bunch of professionals. I need some tips to get over this anxiousness of talking in front of people. Are there any tips that you can pass
yes.
on?
So these are few things that I learned with experience.
Yeah.
Some of my mentors who've taught me this as
Okay.
well. So confidence largely comes from two things. All right. One is knowledge about the topic.
Yeah.
If you are knowledgeable and if you know about the topic, 50% of that anxiety and being scared can be taken care.
Correct.
Which is something I helped them realize during the course itself. They're like, if I knew about this topic, I would have spoken more.
Yeah.
But then I could speak only under less than 45 seconds because I didn't know anything about it. The other part is about feeling confident,
Okay.
right? So that can come with self-affirmations,
Okay.
right? That can come with power poses,
Okay.
right? That comes with visualizing that how will I stand, what is the stage that I'm going to use, how my audience going to respond to me, all of those things. And another thing I tell them is that when you stand in front of a mirror, you're just talking. Like in our times, they used to tell us, no,
Yeah.
practice in front of the mirror and all that.
Yeah.
But the mirror is not going to give you feedback.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? So record yourselves. Okay? Listen to the pace at which you're speaking. Are you making eye contact?
Yeah.
Are you using hand gestures? Are you moving or not? How's your voice? Did I stress? Did I pause? What was all of that I did? I also give them a rubric, tick mark, so that they can assess themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So then it's easier. Where did I go wrong? To self-correct. And that's a skill. That's like a tool that they can use lifelong.
Awesome. That is a great list of great checklist rather. Self-affirmations and
Power poses.
Yep. And keep a checklist, do a video recording.
Absolutely.
And listen to it. and
Visualizing
revisit it,
also.
Visualize.
Yeah. A lot of it comes from NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, something that I did in the past. And that also helps in this, mentoring them.
Excellent. And I think parents can support and this as well. I mean, if they're taking a video, they show it to the parents, and the parents can give a feedback on what can be improved and what, I tell them, have few trusted mentors around you. Could be your parents, could be your aunt, could be a friend who really likes you, appreciates the kind of work you do. So then it's easier to get feedback rather than if you feel, okay, if I show it to a teacher, she might judge me. If you show it to somebody else, then have some safe mentors who could give you the actual feedback that could be helpful. Correct.
And I also tell parents, create forums at home, ask open-ended questions rather than, what happened in school and all of that.
Yeah.
So let's have some open-ended conversations, which helps him also to have an opinion, to be able to speak about. Flood them with information, flood them with discussions so that they know that this is a safe place to speak. And I also tell parents, if you want them to speak, you have to be good listeners as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Only when they know that somebody is there to listen without judging me is when I would want to speak as well.
True. Yeah. Parents can be very judgmental.
Comparing,
Yeah. They can be. I mean, we all are parents, we know.
We've gone through it.
Yeah, we've gone through it. It is tough not to be judgmental. I think given our experience, we want to give good advices based on our experience and so forth, but I think we just need to, like you mentioned, listen first.
2 years and only one mouth.
Yeah.
So let's listen more and actively listen.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just passively listen to what's going on, but then actively listening, asking questions, head nods, and all of that makes a huge difference to the child.
Absolutely. Have you had a child who is very reserved and was it very difficult?
Yes.
To bring that speaking aspect out?
I think there was one such child who's like parents. So what I do, Deepti, is before I take on a child, I have a discussion with the parent and the child also.
Okay.
To understand what are some areas that you would want me to focus.
Yeah.
And then I also have a discussion with the child for 15-20 minutes just to understand, is there a buy-in or not? Or is it just that the parent is pushing the child into it?
Yeah.
Right? So then we assess what the needs of the child are. And then there are times where I have tailor-made courses for one-on-one with kids.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are times parents will ask, how one-on-one this will work, public speaking, there has to be a group and all that. I said, especially with shy kids, it's very difficult to push them into a forum. They're going to get more reserved. Right? Let's work one-on-one with them. You see the result. Maybe next batch I'll put the same child into a bigger group. Right? And then we might see. So it did help one such child. However, she loved stories. Right?
Okay.
So her areas of interest were stories. So I flooded her with stories. We did a newspaper reporting is something that she enjoyed a lot.
Okay.
Right. So these were areas that. So I try and understand what is it that the child really likes, and then tailor make the program. The assignments are in such a way that the child likes a lot. Like one kid who's about 9 years old now talks a lot and he loves superheroes. So
Yeah.
Batman is his superhero.
Yeah.
So his project now is, okay, speak about all the villains of Batman.
Wow.
He loves it and he's going to do a fantastic job, I know.
I think that's a
Right.
great tip for parents. I mean, if you want your child to speak,
Hmm.
pick an area of
His interest,
their
his or her
interest.
interest.
Yes, yes.
Same with reading also. The parents come and tell me during my when I used to run a library and all of that, they used to ask, and they're not reading. Then I say, you force them to read something they're not going to read.
Yeah.
Reading is reading.
Correct.
Read whatever you want.
Yeah.
Read behind the soap box what is written, what are the ingredients.
Yeah.
Read a cookbook. Read about Virat Kohli if that's your interest. Read about Batman if that's your interest. Vocabulary will come.
Yeah. Correct.
It will follow. If that's his interest, I'm sure he'll build vocabulary there.
Yeah. I know, I understand. It's difficult to get kids to read, especially in this day and age when
There's so much digitally
available content.
True.
And ChatGPT has not made it any more easier.
Easier. I agree. Yeah, essays can be written just like
And
that.
just like that, yeah. I know. Great. So, are there any age-appropriate ways to introduce speaking in daily life for
Yes.
kids?
So, when they're very young, that 5 to 7 age group, I think storytelling is the best way for parents to do. Maybe a little role play at home, listening to stories, reading stories together, to be able to speak about a certain character,
Okay.
or read only to a certain extent, ask them to continue, or
Yeah.
just start a story and let them continue. So these are some areas that can help. The moment they hit 8 plus, 9 plus, I think there's video game and there's superheroes and there's cars and so many
Yeah.
other things that are there. So then we try and tailor make programs for that age group based on their interest. At home as well, we encourage parents, let them allow them to speak about these areas.
Yeah.
The moment they hit the 11 plus, 12 plus, we suggest that, there's small events at apartments also.
Yes.
Where they need somebody who can be a master of the ceremony. Go.
Yes.
Take up that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
public speaking after all. Whether it's
Absolutely.
at your apartment, at school, at an event outside,
Yeah.
or host somebody's party at home. Give
Yeah.
them opportunities like these. Is when they get comfortable to stand on the other side of the stage and speak.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the
Great.
moment you get comfortable is just like cycling and swimming, the fear of water, the fear of falling off. Same
Yeah.
thing on the stage.
Yeah, and it's very important, like you mentioned, it can be just little events, It doesn't have to be a big forum
Yeah.
or anything. If there is an opportunity where they get an opportunity to speak, just let them speak. Pick a
Absolutely.
topic of choice. If they like singing, let them sing. If they like dancing, let them dance.
Yep.
Just grab every opportunity
that they have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there been a big breakthrough with any of your students?
Yeah, breakthroughs have been there on and off. Like I said about a mother who sent a detailed email.
Yeah.
Right. And then there was a parent. I also have a Google page which goes by Public Speaking by Akanksha, where a father wrote a detailed testimonial, and I wasn't expecting something like
Yeah.
this, where the child did have some issues with his vocabulary, some issues with being able to make eye contact and speak.
Yeah.
But we play so many games, we play so many activities where unknowingly the child doesn't even know that he's learning the concepts.
Yeah.
Right? But then when he's actually putting that into practice through the games, through the activities, is when the realization comes that, okay, this is public speaking.
Yeah.
Right. And then the feedback from, so at a school there's this show and tell competition where you go dressed as a certain character and you have to speak about the character.
Yeah.
And then the English teacher came asking the mother, how is he doing so well? What is happening?
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
And then he's going for her classes. And then
That's
she comes
excellent.
back and tells me that, and I'm like, wow.
Awesome. That's
Yes.
really nice. Yeah. It feels really good
The
to.
transformations are beautiful. Even with adults, I've seen transformations where they're like, okay, I'm now able to participate on those group conversations and I know what to speak. There's sometimes you just don't know how to fill your sentences. There's certain tricks of trade that you put in, and then be able to make yourself visible, make yourself heard, which is what is super important.
Yeah, and sometimes I've also had experiences where people are overconfident about what they're speaking, and they tend to speak without empathy and not understanding or realizing that they're actually hurting the other person or not saying the right thing. I've been in situations where they're extremes. There's some very reserved people who don't know what to speak, and there are some people who speak anything and everything. And I think it is very important for everybody to go through and understand the structure and the intricacies behind speaking as well, in terms of what is the right thing to say in a public forum as well.
So when I start my classes, I set my ground rules.
Yeah.
I give you a no fear, no judgment place. Likewise, the same respect for everybody else.
Okay.
Right. No mocking anybody just because he couldn't speak or she couldn't deliver what she had to do. Right?
Yeah.
We're here to help each other, learn from each other.
Yeah.
Maybe another day you might be in a situation like that and there must be somebody else mocking at you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And we give feedback to each other which is constructive, which is going to help the other person.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there was one time where the child literally spoke so fast. So pace also is very important. Right. You need to punctuate, you need to pause, you need to be able to give stress to certain syllables and certain words, because that's the impact that you want to give to the audience as well. So then one feedback which came from one student, I think he spoke really fast, like a motor mouth, and I could hardly catch some of the words and all that. So then we had recorded that session, we played it back to the child for the child to understand what was happening, and then the realization comes in, yes, I think. But then slowing down is very difficult for children these days, especially. So it's a conscious effort that the child had to put in to be able to pause and think and then deliver.
And I think it all comes back to practice as well, right? I mean, there is a lot of information that you give and then you make them understand and learn. But how do you ensure that they practice regularly as well?
Practice, yes. So during the course, definitely there are assignments which are there. Not just, speak on this topic and speak on that topic. There are times where you need to observe. There are times you need to record and listen. Make notes also as to what you observe. In fact, with the little kids, there's a beautiful activity we do on emotions also, because facial expressions are very important, right? So I tell them, take selfies of yourself with 7 different emotions, and they love that activity.
How cute.
Yeah. They're like, see, that's facial expression for you. Right? So tomorrow when you're in a skit, you have to show jealousy, you have to show being proud, you know what expression to give. Right? So that is one. And then for the older kids slightly, we give geopolitical topics. We give something on history, we give something on AI, what are the new developments that are coming up and all that. So that one is they're well read also. They know how to deliver these topics. We also do these sessions for students who are preparing for MUN, which is Model United Nations, TEDx speaking, then for interviews, these 12th standard kids who have to give interviews at colleges. So we groom them on all of these aspects.
Excellent. That's a lot of work actually. I mean, if you're doing a course specifically for a particular age group, you know your content and you have curated it just for that. But you are covering broad spectrum of age groups. And
so just like a teacher needs to create her lesson plan, I go spend a good 20 minutes before maths. So it's never that this is the set thing and this is the activity to do next. It's never that. Suddenly the mood changes. They're not interested and the vibe is different. You have to quickly adapt and be able to come up. Let's do this now.
Wow.
If it's the Sri Lankan crisis at that time that was going on, let's do a research on that then. Yeah, it's as then the Manipur burning that happened. So what happened there? Why did it happen? What is your opinion? What are your views? All of that.
I think 17 years of experience working with various kids, adults, and various age groups of kids rather, and adults would have given you a lot of insights into how you are going to structure a program or how you need to adapt and how you need to change things. And you are in that space at this point of time where I think even suddenly if 10 children come in and say, hey, I want to do the course, I don't think you will need to look at your content. I think you know what you want to talk about.
Absolutely, yeah. The framework is there. I just need to pitch in and put in. That's about it.
Absolutely. So give us one core skill or mindset for a takeaway, like that people should have.
I think vocabulary is very important, and vocabulary need not be only about reading books.
Yeah.
You scrolling Instagram also. Read content, listen to content.
Yeah.
We have so many podcasts.
Absolutely.
Lovely podcasts like yourselves now. Right? Listen to podcasts. You're driving, you're going, you're walking somewhere. Listen to podcasts which are of interest to you. Yeah. When you have good vocabulary, you will be able to manage yourself at any kind of public speaking event.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with that. I think generally also definitely vocabulary will help wherever you are in whichever situation you are to express yourself. You definitely need to be able to choose the right words.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. It was awesome talking to you. I thought I would be conscious because we're talking about public speaking. I hope my butterflies were not very evident.
You're very natural, Deepti.
So, but I think the tips that you have given us today is not just helpful for the kids but also adults. And given the way things are going in terms of availability of information at a click of a button, it is very important that we put some effort into learning and being confident in what we are saying.
Thank you. Yes, I truly agree with what you're saying. Every single thing that you've just said. I think public speaking is a skill it's a life skill.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that you don't need at a young age. You don't need it only when you're an adult, but throughout your life. If you want to express something, you want to get and give information, you want action, you want to build relationships, I think public speaking is going to help you sail through all these areas.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Akanksha, for coming here and sharing your valuable insights. Really glad to have you here.
Thank you once again, Deepti, for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.